We have received some new and exciting information that I'm about to relay to you about Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is Episode 8, The Force Awakens was Episode 7, and Rogue One was the fucking prequel to A New Hope, so don't ask, okay? Where was I? Oh yeah, so The Last Jedi. You probably have already heard this information, and it's the fact that The Last Jedi is plural. I intended to make this video a week ago, and I was going to say The Last Jedi is Luke Skywalker. Just go and watch The Force Awakens. Right at the frickin' beginning, you see the title crawl. It says The Last Jedi is Luke Skywalker. So for all you people out there who are being like, who's the Last Jedi? It could be Luke. It could be Rey. It could be somebody else. Luke is he's the Last Jedi. Which means that Rey is just going to be the second Last Jedi. It's going to be Luke and it's going to be Rey. Now, am I happy about that? I guess so. I don't know. It depends on how good it is. If they go the same route with The Force Awakens, if it's a rehash of The Empire Strikes Back, I'm going to be very pissed off. But if they decide to actually do something new and exciting with this, it could be pretty good. We'll see what happens. I think in the previous video I expressed that I really do not think they should kill Luke off in this. You know, if you're going to kill him off in the next one, I guess that's alright. But if you kill him off right after introducing him, that just seems such... It's just too cliche. I mean, they killed Qui-Gon Jinn off in Episode 1. They killed Obi-Wan Kenobi off in the first episode of the trilogy, Episode 4. They introduced Yoda and they killed him off in the next movie. Just leave Luke Skywalker alive for a while, you know? Don't kill him off. Just leave him alone. Hopefully they do that. But you know what? It's Disney, and they make, I mean, well, pretty much every movie company is very good at not understanding what people actually want. So I'm guessing he's probably going to get killed off. And, you know, maybe people do want that. I'm sure there's like 2 people on Twitter who's like, kill Luke off, he should be dead. And Disney's like, those 2 people must be the voice of millions of people. Which is how journalism works, so I wouldn't be surprised. So, I don't think they should kill him off, but in the spirit of all YouTube videos and the fact that everybody decides that they should make a video about who could be the Last Jedi, I am going to talk about who else could be in this movie, but they won't be because it's just going to be Luke and Rey, so keep that in mind. Who do I wish would make an appearance in this video? Let's start with Star Wars Rebels because that makes the most sense. That is, you know, obviously following a few Jedi who survived the purge of Order 66 at the end of the prequel trilogy, and it takes place before the original trilogy where suddenly Luke shows up and he does a bunch of stuff. So there you have Ezra. Personally, it'd be interesting to see him make an appearance. I think they should kill him off at the end of Star Wars Rebels, though, in my opinion. I think if anybody should make an appearance from Star Wars Rebels, it should be, who's a Jedi specifically, it should be Kanan. Now, the reason I say that is because for me, Star Wars Rebels has always felt like it is the progression of Kanan becoming a Jedi. And now with Season 3, I haven't seen a lot of Season 3, I've only seen a few episodes. By a few, I mean, I think like 4, maybe 3. It feels more like it's about his progression to becoming a Jedi Master. So from Season 1 and Season 2, it felt like his progression to finally becoming that Jedi again, accepting who he is, and then he became a Jedi Knight. At the end of Season 2, Yoda's like, you're a Jedi now. And now it feels like it's him understanding more about the Force and understanding more about himself, and that's his progression from Jedi Knight to Jedi Master. And I think that would be a really interesting reveal to have him in The Last Jedi, where it's kind of Luke is like, he's like, I'm the Last Jedi, there's no one else. And then Kanan steps out of the shadows. He's like, I've been here the whole time, but I know a lot more about the Force than you would think I would, because I guess, I don't know, I was actually at the temple and stuff for a little while, and I've seen a lot of stuff, and okay. And then, you know, maybe kill Kanan off. If you're going to kill somebody off, keep Luke alive, kill Kanan. Or maybe do it the other way around. At least have some kind of Jedi Master alive at the end of The Last Jedi. You know, I'd be fine with killing Luke off and keeping Kanan, because I really like Kanan. I like his character. I think He's a very interesting person. And while Ezra is good, I don't hate him being in Star Wars Rebels. I actually do enjoy him. It really doesn't feel like his story. I think he should... We've done his story. We found out about his parents. That's all you need to know. So just kill him off at the end of Star Wars Rebels. And kill Ahsoka off at the season before the last season of Star Wars Rebels. Well, maybe she's already come back for season 3. They pretended to kill her off at the end of season 2. Everybody knows she's still alive. They had the Ahsoka Lives t-shirts. They'll bring her back. You know, don't worry about it. She'll be back. But I think she should be dead before Star Wars Rebels is over. And then Ezra should be dead. And then it should just be Kanan. And he's finally, at the very end, he's finally become that Jedi Master. And that's it. And then he goes and does something. And he's gone for the rest of the original trilogy, which is why I only see Luke. Granted, I think probably what's going to happen is everybody's going to die. All the Jedi are going to be killed off at the end of Star Wars Rebels. But if you keep somebody, keep Kanan, okay? That's my opinion. We saw the Ghost in Rogue One. Maybe Star Wars Rebels is going to go past that, and we'll get a chance to see what they're doing. That'd actually be kind of interesting. We get a chance to see what they're doing during the whole original trilogy era. But I don't know. I think the most likely they're going to be killed off, and that it's just going to be Luke and Rey. Because Disney likes to play it safe. I might have already mentioned this in the video, but Disney does not like to touch... They don't like to do anything that has to do with the prequel trilogy. We've already seen that they have been very, very wary of treading that water. Obviously, they've come a little bit close with some of their books. They've done stuff with Quinlan Vos, and they've had Ahsoka Tano. And they're doing some stuff with, I think they're actually coming up with a Darth Maul book that might actually be, I believe, my memory serves, they're coming out with a Darth Maul comic that is going to take place before the prequel trilogy, which it's about freaking time, okay? You know, I've mentioned this before, Disney. What happens when if you have a troubled child, what happens if you don't take care of it? If you just leave it alone, let it be, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. Prequel trilogy is only going to get worse if you don't solve the problems. So I think it would be really neat to see Kanan in The Last Jedi. Mace Windu, I've heard there've been a lot of people who'd like to see him make a return. I've heard that he might make a return in Star Wars Rebels, which would be interesting. I think that's the only time that he should make an appearance. I don't think he needs to be in The Last Jedi. Bring him back in Star Wars Rebels. You can see the broken, crippled version of him after being defeated by Anakin and watching the Jedi be destroyed. That'd be an interesting thing to see, but he definitely does not need to return for The Last Jedi. All the people who are saying that Mace Windu is Admiral Snoke, really? He's a bald guy. They're two bald guys. That's the best you can do. I like the theory that Darth Plagueis is Admiral Snoke. Once again, I don't think that's going to be what happens because Disney is treading water when it comes to the prequel trilogy. They just do not want anything to do with it. They want to try and capture the magic of the original trilogy. A lot of people like The Force Awakens. I think they really just don't have a good grasp as to what Star Wars fans like and wanted. I mean, a lot of people did like The Force Awakens. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's still enjoyable, but when it comes to what I would want from a movie after... I'm not going to talk about it. If you want to know what my opinion on that is, watch the previous video I did on The Force Awakens. Anyway, so, who else could make an appearance in The Last Jedi aside from Luke, Rey, and Kanan? I don't know who else is alive. Oh, you know what? There's Quinlan Vos. Actually, he might be dead. I don't really know. I didn't read the book with him and Asajj Ventress. If he's alive, kill him off. He doesn't need to be in The Last Jedi. Honestly, I think that's pretty much it. I think if anybody else besides Luke and Rey are going to make an appearance, which I think there really should be, it should either be some new character who survived the most recent purge by Kylo Ren. Maybe it's some guy that Kylo Ren thought he killed and he lived and he comes back. Like, you know what? Kyle Katarn. Bring him back, okay? Give him a whole different storyline, fine, but just make him Kyle Katarn, make him the same witty, kind of unique Jedi character that he is in the video games. That would be great. So, okay, here's my wish list. Luke does not killed, or at least somebody besides Rey isn't killed in the end. Kyle Katarn is in it. Kanan is in it. Everybody else is already dead. They don't need to be alive. Rey, obviously, she's not going to be killed off, so not worried about that. But I think, personally, having a story with just Rey surviving at the very end, I don't know. It just sounds like we're getting... And like I said, I totally expect it because Disney seems to think that what they should do... And honestly, George Lucas kind of did that too, but the idea of just having one person who's alive at the very end to try and rebuild the Jedi, especially now that they have even less, because the last remnants of what they had to gather together with Luke and his weird friend who wasn't actually a Jedi. I mean, they didn't know a lot about the Jedi. So Rey having to build that all up from the even more limited knowledge that she has, I don't know. That wouldn't be a good direction, in my opinion. I think they should leave somebody alive, whether it's Luke to continue on rebuilding his Jedi Order and Rey goes off to save the galaxy. That'd be a good story. Kanan, that would also work pretty well because he knows a lot about the Jedi themselves, and he also has a lot of insight over his experiences that maybe Luke doesn't even have. I mean, I think Luke's an interesting character who's very powerful, but I also think Luke probably is still kind of limited in his understanding. And then who else did I mention? Oh yeah, Kyle Katarn. I think Kyle Katarn rebuilding the Jedi Order would be kind of weird. So if you bring Kyle, let's get this straight. He's not going to be in this. But if they brought him back, they should also have somebody else to help Rey rebuild the Jedi Order, and Kyle Katarn can kind of be like, "Hey, I'll go find some people to help us with my cool beard and my snazzy quips." And then he goes off, and Rey and Kanan or Luke or whatever rebuild the Jedi Order. That would be more exciting to me. I think Rey on her own, it would just be... I mean, it's already hard to believe some of the stuff that Rey's been doing in The Force Awakens. So I wouldn't put it past Disney to be like, Rey somehow figured out everything about the Force for no reason. And she also immediately knew all the knowledge of the Jedi and rebuilt the temple. That sounds like something that Disney would do, because they basically did that in The Force Awakens, where they're like, hey, Rey can do some really advanced Force techniques right off the bat, even though she never had any ability to do them at all. I mean, if Rey could use the Force on people, she probably would have used it to get some more rations on Jakku, you know what I mean? So, I'm not buying this, Disney. I'm not buying it. You need to make me buy it, because right now I'm not. I mean, technically I did purchase it, and honestly I'll probably still buy it, but mentally, in here, I don't believe it. You gotta sell me on this, okay? So I'm gonna leave it off there. I think this was a lot shorter than usual, but that's mostly because it was pretty simple. There wasn't a lot of characters for me to go through, because personally I think most of the people should be dead. I think reintroducing them in Star Wars Rebels is a good idea, because that's a point of time between... I mean, there's a lot that happens between Star Wars Rebels and what's going on now. So, you know, kill them off in Star Wars... If they somehow survive Star Wars Rebels, aside from Kanan, kill them off in the new Jedi group. Or at least have them survive to that point. Like, it would be cool for Luke to be able to met Kanan, in my opinion. So, I'm going to leave it there. I will see you guys next week. And I'm going to try and get back to doing these more often. I meant to do this last week, and then I was a little bit behind on it. And then, of course, we got the... Actually, I don't remember when we got the news. I know I was going to do this last week, and then we got the news of this, and then I had to change some things up. So this short video is pretty much what I could muster, because honestly, there's not a lot to say about it. As a matter of fact, there's probably more to say about it than there was last week. So that's pretty good, I guess. So I'm gonna try and do these as much as possible. I'm working on the next Cantina video, which is where I put a lot of effort into it, as opposed to this half-assed crap that I'm doing right now. So look forward to that. That's probably, I'm working on some stuff right now that's just it takes a while to do some of this stuff. And I haven't even got down to the editing. So I would expect maybe 3 weeks from now, which is going to be out of February, which is frustrating. I know. But I'm doing it as quick as I can. So I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe. Man, it is hot in here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And hit the like button if you haven't. If you have something to say, like if you think somebody else should survive, go right down in the comments. Let me know. Or if you think that, if you disagree with me, you think Luke should die, also talk about that, because I want to see what your personal opinion on that is, because maybe I'll rethink some of my thoughts and think that maybe Luke should be dead. I don't think so, but we got to talk about this. So I will see you guys down in the comments.